I need you to stop right now, just for a moment, because what you are about to hear was not an accident. You did not stumble onto this by chance. You did not find this. I brought this to you. I placed it in front of your eyes at this exact moment, on this exact day, because I have been trying to reach you. And today, right now, you are finally still enough to hear me. You felt something when this started, didn't you? Something quiet but undeniable pulled at you. Maybe you were mindlessly scrolling. Maybe you were avoiding something. Maybe you were lying in bed at night, unable to sleep again, and your thumb stopped. That was not your thumb. That was me. That gentle, almost invisible pull you felt, the one that made you pause. That was my hand on your shoulder, whispering, "Sit down, beloved. I have something to say to you." I want you to know before I say anything else that I see you. Not the version of you that you show the world. Not the curated, together, fine I'm doing fine version. I see the version of you that nobody else gets to see. The you that sits alone sometimes with the weight of everything pressing down on your chest like a stone. The you that gets in the shower and lets the water run so nobody can hear. The you that smiles when asked how you're doing and says, "I'm good, things are good," and feels the smallness of that lie even as it leaves your mouth. I see that version of you. I have always seen that version of you, and I want you to know, that is the version I love most completely. Because that is the real you, and I came for the real you. I know how tired you feel. Not just physically tired, though yes, I see that too. I see the nights that stretch too long, and the mornings that come too fast. I see the alarm going off, and the sigh that happens before your eyes even open. That bone-deep, soul-level exhaustion of a person who has been running hard for a very long time, without enough rest, without enough peace, without enough of what actually nourishes you. I see that. But I'm talking about something deeper than physical tiredness. I am talking about the tiredness of your spirit. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind of tired that comes from carrying things you were never designed to carry alone. The kind of tired that comes from fighting battles in silence, from holding yourself together through sheer force of will, from white-knuckling your way through days and weeks and months, and telling yourself, just get through this. Just make it to the other side. Just hold on a little longer. You've been holding on for so long, and you are so tired. I want you to put that down, not later. Right now, in this moment, as you hear these words, I want you to imagine setting down every single thing you have been carrying and just breathing. Just for 1 minute. Because here's the truth that I have been trying to get to you, and I need you to really hear this. You were never supposed to carry it alone. None of it. Not the financial stress that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with your heart pounding, running the same impossible numbers through your head, wondering how you're going to make everything work, wondering if the gap between what's coming in and what's going out will ever close, wondering how long you can keep all the plates spinning before something crashes. Not that. You were never supposed to carry that alone. Not the loneliness. And I want to speak to this specifically, because I know that loneliness is one of the most painful things a human heart can experience. And I also know that in this country, in this culture, at this moment in history, loneliness is epidemic. People are more connected than they have ever been. More devices, more platforms, more ways to be in contact. And they are lonelier than ever. You might be one of them. You might be surrounded by people, at work, at home, in your neighborhood, and still feel a deep, aching sense that nobody really knows you. That the connections you have are surface level. That the conversations you have are transactional. That you could disappear for a week and nobody would truly notice the shape of the hole you left. That is a specific kind of pain. And I want you to know, I feel it with you. I have felt it with you every single time. And I want you to know that there is not a single moment, not one, where you have been alone in that room, in that bed, in that silence. I have been there. I have always been there. You could not see me, but I was there. Not the relationship pain. Whether you are in a relationship that has lost its warmth, and you are not sure how you got here or how to find your way back, or whether you are watching someone you love pull away and feeling powerless to stop it, or whether you are carrying old wounds from people who should have loved you better and didn't, or whether you are simply lonely for a love that hasn't come yet and wondering if it ever will. I see all of it. I see the arguments that left things unsaid. I see the apologies that came too late or never came at all. I see the way you sometimes look at other people's lives and wonder what is wrong with you. Why connection seems to come easily for everyone else and feels so fragile and complicated for you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing. And the love you are longing for, I am the source of it. Every real love you have ever felt, ever been given, ever been capable of giving, it flows from me. And I have love for you that surpasses anything you have ever experienced. A love that does not depend on your performance. A love that does not withdraw when you make mistakes. A love that does not keep a record of all the ways you have fallen short. A perfect, relentless, pursuing, patient, enduring love. And it is pointed directly at you right now. You've been carrying too much on your own. I need you to understand something about the way you have been living. You have been operating, and many of you have been operating this way for years, as if everything depends on you, as if the moment you stop grinding, stop hustling, stop holding everything together with both hands, the whole thing collapses. As if rest is a luxury you cannot afford, as if asking for help is a sign of weakness. As if trust, real trust, not the performance of trust, but actually letting go of control and resting in something bigger than yourself, is naive. And I understand why you think that. I understand the world has taught you that. You grew up watching adults who were exhausted and afraid and doing their best, and you learned early that the world is not always safe, that people are not always reliable, that if you want something done right, you better do it yourself. You learned to be self-sufficient because self-sufficiency felt like safety. But beloved, that kind of safety is a cage. It is a cage because it puts all of creation's weight on the narrowest shoulders possible. Yours, alone, without me. And I did not design you for that. I designed you to be in relationship with me. I designed you to walk through life with my hand in yours, to bring me the things that are too heavy, to let me open the doors that are bolted shut in front of you, to let me fight the battles you are not equipped to fight alone. I designed you for partnership with the divine, not servitude, not performance, not the exhausting charade of having everything under control. Partnership, conversation, trust, rest. And I know the word trust feels complicated right now, because if I'm honest, and I am always honest with you, I know that somewhere along the way, you prayed for something and it didn't come. You believed or you tried to believe, and that something happened or something didn't happen, and the silence felt like abandonment, and you took that silence and you used it to build a wall around your hope. You decided, maybe not consciously, but in the quiet architecture of your heart, that it was safer to not fully hope, not fully trust, not fully surrender, because being disappointed by me felt too much like being abandoned by the last person you ever trusted. I need to speak directly to that. I did not abandon you. I know that is what it felt like. I know the unanswered prayers felt like a closed door. I know the seasons of silence felt like absence. I know the things that broke felt in those moments like evidence that I either could not or would not protect you. And I am not here to minimize that pain or to give you a tidy theological explanation that skips over the hurt. I am here to sit with you in it and tell you, as someone who sees the whole story when you can only see the chapter you are currently living, that I was present in every single one of those moments, the ones that hurt the most, the ones that confused you, the ones that made you question everything. I was there. I was not distant. I was not indifferent. I was working, often invisibly, often in ways that would only make sense much later, in the middle of all of it. Some of the things I allowed to be removed from your life were protecting you from something worse. Some of the doors I closed were saving you from walking into rooms that would have diminished you. Some of the delays you endured were building something in you: patience, depth, character, capacity that you needed before I could entrust you with what is coming. Some of the pain was not punishment. It was preparation. I need you to hear that. Not as a cliché, not as a bumper sticker, but as a deep and personal and specific truth about your life. The pain was not punishment. You were not being taught a lesson because you were bad. You were not being withheld from because you were unworthy. You were being shaped. You were being formed. And formation is not always comfortable. Formation is, in fact, often the most uncomfortable thing a person goes through. But on the other side of formation is strength, and wisdom, and capacity, and a version of yourself that you would not trade for anything. A version of yourself that only became possible through what you went through. And I need you to know, that version of you is close. This is your turning point. I want you to receive those words, not as hype, not as a feel-good line designed to keep you watching. I am speaking them as a specific, personal, divine declaration over your life, right now. Something is shifting. The season you have been in, the long, hard, confusing, painful, exhausting season, is ending. Often, they begin quietly, beneath the surface, the way spring begins underground, long before you can see it in the trees. But something is moving. Something has been loosened in the spiritual atmosphere around your life. The prayers you have prayed, even the ones you prayed and then stopped believing, I heard every single one. I collected every single one, and I am answering. Not all at once. I rarely work all at once. I work in layers, in sequences, in the right order, because I can see what you cannot. I can see the downstream effects of every decision, every open door, every relationship, every opportunity, and I am orchestrating your story with a precision that would take your breath away if you could see it. But what I need from you right now is not more striving. What I need from you right now is not more effort. What I need from you right now is surrender. Real surrender. The kind that is not passive resignation, but is in fact the most active and courageous thing a human being can do. The decision to open your hands, release your grip on the outcomes you have been white-knuckling, and say, I trust you. I don't understand everything, but I trust you. I can't see the whole road, but I trust you. I'm tired of doing this alone, and I trust you. That is where the breakthrough lives. Not in more hustle, not in finally figuring out the right plan, not in working harder or being smarter or executing better. The breakthrough lives in surrender. It lives on the other side of the moment when you finally stop fighting me and start partnering with me. Let me tell you something about the financial pressure you are under. I know the numbers. I know the bills. I know the debt that feels like a physical weight on your body. I know the way you avoid certain conversations because you don't want to say out loud how tight things are. I know the shame that has attached itself to your financial situation. The lie that says your worth is tied to your net worth. That struggling financially somehow means you are less than, that you should have figured this out by now, that something is fundamentally broken in you because you cannot seem to get ahead. That is a lie. I want you to hear me clearly on this. Your financial situation is not a verdict on your worth. It is not a reflection of your value. It is not evidence that I have forgotten you or that blessing is for other people and not for you. I am the God of abundance. I am not stingy. I am not reluctant. I am not holding back from you because you haven't earned it yet. But here is what I need you to understand about provision. It flows through relationship. It flows through trust. It flows through alignment. And some of the financial breakthrough you have been waiting for is connected to decisions I am about to lead you into. Partnerships I am about to arrange. Ideas I'm about to release into your mind. Doors I'm about to open. And all of it requires that you be in a position to hear me, to recognize my voice, to trust my guidance enough to step through the door when I open it. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am asking you to be responsive. There is a difference. Recklessness ignores wisdom. Responsiveness honors wisdom and still walks forward in faith. And I am asking you, I am inviting you to move into a season of responsiveness, to bring your finances to me the way you would bring any other burden. Not just in desperation at 3 a.m. when the anxiety spikes, but in daily, honest, humble conversation. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you fear. Tell me what you don't understand. Ask me for wisdom. Ask me for open doors. Ask me to show you where you are working against my plan for your provision, and where you need to simply trust and wait and watch me work. Because I will work. I have worked for people in far more desperate financial situations than yours, and I will work for you. Not because you deserve it more than anyone else, because I love you just as fully and personally as I love every single soul I have ever created, but because I am who I am, and I do not run out, and I do not forget, and I am already at work in your situation even as you read these words. I want to talk about your anxiety, because I know it is real, and I know it is heavy, and I know that for many of you it has become so normalized, so much a part of daily experience, that you have almost stopped noticing it as abnormal. The constant low hum of worry, the way your mind races through worst-case scenarios unbidden, the tightness in your chest that shows up without obvious cause, the catastrophizing that happens automatically. Something small goes wrong, and your brain immediately extrapolates to everything falling apart. The hypervigilance, the inability to be present in good moments because part of your mind is always scanning the horizon for the next threat. The exhausting, relentless, body and soul depleting weight of anxiety. I want you to hear me on this. That was never meant to be your normal. I did not design the human spirit for chronic anxiety. I did not wire you for that kind of constant activation. The human nervous system was designed to experience threat, respond to threat, and then return to rest. What the modern world, with its constant information stream, its economic pressure, its comparison culture, its noise has done, is keep that nervous system perpetually activated, perpetually scanning, perpetually braced for impact. And for many of you, on top of the external noise, you are carrying the internal weight of everything that has happened to you. The losses, the traumas, the disappointments, the fears, and the cumulative effect is an anxiety that has become your default state. I want to offer you something different. I want to offer you peace, not the absence of problems. I am not promising you a life without difficulty. I am not selling you a pain-free existence, but I am offering you something that the world cannot manufacture and cannot take away. A peace that exists in the middle of the difficulty. A peace that does not depend on your circumstances being resolved. A peace that comes from a settled knowing, deep in the core of who you are, that you are held, that you are loved, that you are not alone in this, and that the one who is with you in this is the one who holds all of creation in his hand. That peace is available to you right now. Not someday, not when things settle down. Right now, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the unresolved and the uncertain and the still complicated, that peace is available. But it only comes through me. You cannot generate it yourself. You cannot think your way into it. You cannot discipline your way into it. It is a gift, and like all gifts, you have to receive it. You have to open your hands. You have to stop gripping so tightly to your need to control and understand everything. And you have to receive the peace that passes understanding. The peace that doesn't make logical sense given everything you are going through, but is real and solid and sustaining anyway. I have never left your side. I know there are seasons of your life where my presence felt completely absent. I know there are memories you carry of prayers that felt like they've bounced off the ceiling. I know there are nights where you reached for me and felt nothing. No warmth, no response, no sense of contact. And you wondered in the loneliness of that moment whether I was real at all, whether any of this was real, whether you were simply talking to yourself in the dark. I know about those nights, and I want to tell you something about them. My presence has never been dependent on your ability to feel it. I was with you in every single one of those silent, cold, reaching moments. The silence was not my absence. The silence was often the most intimate I could possibly be with you. Not performing, not speaking, not doing anything that could be attributed to your own emotion or your own imagination, but simply being with you, present, steady, unwavering. The way the ground is always beneath you, even when you can't see it in the dark. You don't think about the ground, you don't feel the ground most of the time, but the moment you take a step, it is there. That is how I am with you. You do not always feel me. You do not always sense my presence, but I am always there. Every breath you have taken, I was there. Every morning you opened your eyes to a new day, even the ones that felt purposeless, I was there. Every time your heart beat in your chest, that involuntary, faithful, tireless muscle that keeps you alive without any effort on your part, that is my sustaining hand. That is me saying, not yet. Stay. There is more for you. Every time something almost happened to you that you don't even know about, a near miss you were never aware of, a danger you were diverted from without knowing it, a meeting that was prevented, an accident that was averted, I was there, working, protecting, ordering your steps. You have been more held than you know. You have been more guided than you know. You have been more loved in the specific, personal, attentive details of your daily life than you have ever given me credit for. And I am not saying that to make you feel guilty. I am saying it because I want you to begin to see it. I want you to begin to develop the eyes for it, the capacity to look at your life and see the fingerprints of my involvement everywhere. To look back at the story of how you got here and begin to recognize the hand that was moving things, opening paths, closing others, arranging people and moments and timing, orchestrating your story with a love and a wisdom that you are only just beginning to understand. I want to talk about something you don't talk about much. The feeling of being lost. Not lost the way you might be driving and take the wrong turn. That kind of lost is fixable with GPS. I'm talking about a deeper lost. The feeling of not knowing who you are anymore. The feeling of having built a life that looks fine from the outside, maybe even looks good from the outside, has all the right features, meets most of the benchmarks, but feels hollow on the inside. The feeling of going through motions. The feeling that the life you are living was designed for someone else's vision of who you should be. And somewhere along the way you just drifted from yourself, from your own desires, your own dreams, your own sense of purpose, your own authentic, specific, irreplaceable self. A lot of people in this country are living that feeling right now. They have done everything right, gone to school, gotten the job, built the career, cultivated the social media presence, checked the boxes of adulthood, and they are standing in the middle of a life they chose, and wondering, is this it? They feel guilty for not being grateful enough. They feel confused for not being happier. They feel ashamed for wanting more, or wanting something different, in a life that should, by all accounts, be enough. I want to tell you, that longing is not ingratitude. That restlessness is not a character flaw. That ache you feel for something more, something realer, something truer, that is not you being difficult, or ungrateful, or unable to be satisfied. That is me. That is my voice, planted so deep in your spirit that even the noise of modern life cannot fully drown it out, saying, there is more for you than this. You were made for more than performance and productivity and accumulating and managing and surviving. You were made for me. You were made for purpose. You were made for the adventure of a life lived in partnership with the divine. And no substitute, no career achievement, no relationship, no amount of money, no level of status will ever fill that specific shape-shaped hole. Only I can fill it. And I am not saying that as a religious formula. I am saying it as a biological, spiritual, existential fact about the way I designed you. You were designed with a capacity for the eternal, a depth in your soul that only eternity can satisfy. And you have been trying to fill that depth with things that are not deep enough. Things that are good. I gave you many good things, but things that were never designed to be your source, your sustenance, your foundation. When you try to fill an eternal hunger with temporal things, you will always walk away still hungry. And that is what you have been experiencing. And that is why you are here today. Because today, I am extending an invitation. Not to a religion, not to a set of rules, not to a performance-based system where you earn my love by being good enough and lose it when you fall short. I am not inviting you into that. I am inviting you into relationship. Personal, ongoing, living, breathing, daily relationship with me. I am inviting you to bring me the real version of yourself. The messy, confused, doubting, struggling, complicated real version, and to let me love that version into wholeness. I am inviting you to stop running the show alone and to start including me. To start your mornings by talking to me before you check your phone. To end your nights by bringing me everything that happened during the day. The good, the bad, the confusing. To make decisions in conversation with me instead of in isolation. To ask me for guidance, for wisdom, for open doors, for closed doors, for the courage to walk through the right ones. This is not complicated. It does not require a building or a title or a perfect theological resume. It requires only this: honesty and willingness. Come to me as you are. Come to me with your doubts still intact. Come to me with your questions still unanswered. Come to me with your wounds still tender. Come to me with the parts of yourself you are ashamed of. Come to me with the things you have done that you cannot forgive yourself for. Come to me with the anger you feel. Even the anger you feel toward me. I can handle your anger. I am not fragile. I would rather have your honest anger than your polite distance. Come to me. Just come. Because here is what happens when you come. When you step across the threshold, when you decide, even imperfectly, even shakily, even with only a mustard seed of faith, I do not wait for you to get your act together before I begin to move. I begin to move the moment you take even one step in my direction. The lights start to come on. The path that was invisible in the dark begins to become visible. Not all at once, not the whole road stretching out to the horizon, but the next step, the next right thing, the next conversation, the next door, the next decision, illuminated. And then you take that step, and then the next one is lit, and then the one after that, and gradually, without your being able to point to a single dramatic moment, your entire life is moving in a different direction, a better direction, the direction it was always meant to go. That is what's available to you right now. I want to speak directly to the exhaustion of your burnout, because so many of you are running on fumes and have been for a long time. And the culture you live in does not make it easy to stop. The culture you live in glorifies the grind. It celebrates productivity as a virtue. It equates rest with laziness and busyness with worthiness. It holds up the person who never stops, who is always doing, always hustling, always optimizing, as some kind of ideal. And it never shows you the cost. It doesn't show you the marriages that crumbled because there was nothing left to give. It doesn't show you the children who grew up with physically present but emotionally absent parents. It doesn't show you the health that broke down because the body, which is not a machine and was never designed like a machine, was simply pushed past its limits for too long. It doesn't show you the internal deadness that sets in when a person stops listening to themselves, stops honoring their own limits, stops making space for the things that actually restore them: beauty, rest, play, wonder, connection, stillness. I am the God who rested on the seventh day, not because I was tired, I do not tire, but because I was modeling something for you. I was demonstrating that rest is not a reward for finishing. Rest is built into the design. Rest is sacred. Rest is necessary. It is time you are investing in your sustainability. And I am calling you, specifically you, reading or hearing this right now. I am calling you into rest. Not permanent passivity, not the abandonment of your responsibilities, but sustainable, God-honoring, soul-restoring rhythm. A life that has in it not just work and output and achievement, but stillness, Sabbath, space for me to speak, space for you to hear, because you have been so busy, so loud internally, so full of the noise of managing and planning and worrying and scrolling That even when I speak, you can't hear me over the static. And I have so much to say to you. I have wisdom for your specific decisions. I have ideas that would change the trajectory of your finances. I have insights about your relationships that would bring healing to things that have felt unfixable. I have a perspective on your life, the whole thing, the arc of it, where it came from and where it is going, that would bring you profound peace if you could receive it. But you cannot receive it if you never create space for it. You cannot hear a still small voice in a hurricane. So I am asking you, as an act of faith, as an act of trust, as a practical first step into everything I have been describing, find the stillness. Even for 15 minutes a day. Put the phone down. Turn the noise off. Sit with me. Don't perform. Don't fill the silence with religious-sounding words. Just be present with me the way you would be present with someone you love. Not always talking, not always doing, just together. That is where the transformation starts. Not in more information, not in more content, in presence. I want to tell you about your future. Not in vague generalities, not in feel-good platitudes, but with the honest and specific love of a father who knows his child and knows what they are capable of and knows what they are made for. You have gifts that you have been underutilizing. Gifts that were placed in you before you were born. Specific, irreplaceable, irreducible gifts that the world needs in a way it has not found anywhere else. Because nobody has your exact combination. Nobody has your perspective, your history, your way of seeing, your voice, your capacity to connect, your particular way of bringing light into the dark places you have been through. And those dark places you have been through, the ones I was talking about earlier, the ones that felt like they were only suffering, they were also forming something. They were forming the specific and irreplaceable version of you that can speak to the specific and irreplaceable people who need what only you can offer. Your story is not a liability. Your story is your ministry. Your story is your offering. The very things you are most tempted to hide, the failures, the struggles, the seasons of confusion, the things you are ashamed of, those are the things that will create the deepest resonance with the people I'm about to connect you with. Because people do not connect with perfection. People connect with truth. People connect with the person who has been through something real and come out the other side and can say, I know what that feels like. I have been there, and here is what I found. You are going to be that person for someone, maybe for many someones. I have a purpose for your pain, and that purpose is not finished yet, and it is bigger than you have let yourself imagine. And I need you to stop disqualifying yourself before you even begin. You are not too old. You have not missed your window. The idea that there is a deadline on purpose, a point after which it is too late to start, too late to pivot, too late to become who you were meant to be, that is a lie. And it is a lie specifically designed to keep you paralyzed. I am not bound by your timeline. I am not working against a deadline. I am outside of time, which means I can redeem time in ways that defy natural logic. I can take 10 years of wandering and turn the wisdom it produced into the rocket fuel for the most significant season of your life. I can take what looked like wasted time and retroactively make it the most essential chapter of your story. I have done it before, for people who had been through more, wandered longer, fallen further, and I will do it for you. You are not too broken. The areas of your life where you feel the most broken, the most damaged, the most beyond repair, those are not obstacles to your purpose. They are often the very sites of your greatest calling. The person who has been through addiction and found restoration becomes the voice of restoration for others. The person who has survived an impossible season of grief becomes the steady presence for others who are just entering their grief. The person who walked through financial devastation and came through it has a credibility and a compassion for the financially struggling that someone who has never struggled simply does not have. Your brokenness, surrendered to me, offered back to me, allowed to be healed by me, becomes your testimony. And your testimony becomes someone else's lifeline. So let me have the broken places. Stop protecting them from me. Stop managing them on your own. Stop pretending they don't exist. I already know they exist. I see them more clearly than you do. And I am not horrified by them. I am not disgusted by them. I am not waiting for you to fix them before I will love you. I love you right now, in the fullness of your brokenness, with exactly the same completeness and tenderness and ferocity as I would love you if you were completely whole, because in my eyes, in the deepest reality, you already are. The wholeness I see in you is the wholeness I placed in you, and it is not diminished by what you have been through, and it is not dependent on what you have done, and it is not waiting on your performance to become real. It is real, right now, today. You are whole in me, you are loved in me, you are purposed in me, you are enough. Let me speak to those of you who are in the middle of something that feels utterly impossible. A situation that by every natural measure should not work out. A relationship that has sustained damage that seems unrecoverable. A financial hole that seems too deep. A health crisis that has shaken everything. A decision that seems like there is no good option. A door that has been closed so firmly and for so long that you have stopped even looking at it. I want you to know, I am the God of the impossible. Not metaphorically, not as a spiritual concept that sounds nice but doesn't touch real life. I mean that I literally, specifically, in the actual material circumstances of your actual life, operate in the space that exists beyond what is humanly possible. I move in the gap between what can be done and what cannot be done by human hands. And I am asking you, right now, to bring me your impossible situation. Not to tell me about it as if I don't know, I already know. But to bring it to me as an act of surrender. To say, this is too much for me. I cannot fix this. I have tried everything I know to try, and I am out of ideas and out of energy, and I need you to move in this. That prayer, that honest, exhausted, surrendered prayer, is one of the most powerful things a human being can offer me. Because it is real. It is stripped of performance. It is just you and the impossible thing, and me. And that is exactly the kind of conversation I can work with. I want to bring something to a close, and I want to do it by coming back to something I said at the beginning, because I want it to be the thing that stays with you. You were not here by accident. Whatever the circumstances that led you here, whatever algorithm served you this content, whatever distracted impulse made you stop scrolling, whatever combination of randomness and recommendation delivered this to your screen at this moment, I want you to let those feel like what they are, the fingerprints of a God who has been pursuing you patiently, persistently, lovingly, across every distraction and detour and busy season, looking for a moment when you were still enough to hear something true. This was that moment. And now that you have heard it, something in you has changed. Maybe you can feel it, a shift, a settling, something quiet and real in the place beneath words and explanations. Or maybe you can't feel it yet, and that is okay too. The change does not depend on the feeling. The seed has been planted, the word has gone out, and I do not send my word out and have it come back empty. Something is happening in you right now, even if you cannot name it. Even if you walk away from this, and the feeling fades, and life gets loud again, and you are not sure what to do with any of it. Something has started, and here is what I want you to do with it. Don't let this be just another piece of content you consumed and moved past. I know how easy that is. I know the algorithm is already ready to offer you something else, and the day is full of demands, and it is so easy to feel something in a moment, and then let the moment pass without it leading to anything different. I am asking you, I am lovingly, directly, personally asking you, don't do that this time. Let this be the moment that actually means something. Let this be the turning point it is. Here is your next step. It does not have to be grand. It does not have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Today, maybe in the next hour, maybe right now, find 5 minutes of quiet. Put everything else down and talk to me. Out loud if you can. In your head if that's where you are. in writing if that helps you find the words. Just talk to me. Tell me where you are. Tell me what you are carrying. Tell me the thing you are most afraid of right now, the thing you have been trying hardest not to think about. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you want. Tell me the thing you gave up hoping for. And then, and this is the important part, sit in the quiet for a moment and let me respond. Not with audible words necessarily, though sometimes that happens, but with the peace, with the settling, with the sense of not being alone, with the thought that drops into your mind that feels like it came from somewhere outside you. That is me. I am already speaking. I have always been speaking. You are just learning to listen. And after that conversation, come back. Tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. This is not a one-time transaction. This is the beginning of a daily relationship, a daily conversation, a daily practice of choosing presence over performance, trust over control, partnership over isolation. And watch what happens. Watch how the anxiety begins to lose its grip, not because the circumstances changed, but because you are no longer carrying them alone. Watch how clarity begins to emerge in places that were confused. Watch how unexpected doors open, conversations that happen at exactly the right time, connections that shouldn't be possible, provision that comes from directions you weren't looking. Watch how the heaviness begins to lift, not all at once, gradually. The way the sun comes up, you cannot see it moving, but you look up and realize it is brighter than it was, and then brighter still, and then you are standing in full light, wondering when it happened. That is what is coming for you. Full light. I want to speak one more time to the doubters, the skeptics, the ones who have been listening to all of this, and something in them wanted to respond, but another part of them, the part that has been hurt, the part that has been disappointed, the part that has learned to protect itself, is still standing back, arms crossed, not quite ready to let themselves hope. I see you. I am not asking you to have all of your doubts resolved before you come. I am not asking you to be certain. Certainty is not the requirement. Honesty is. Willingness is. If you have even a fraction of openness right now, even a small part of you that thinks, what if this is real? What if there is something here? What if I could actually have what this is describing? I am asking you to follow that fraction, to take one step in the direction of that small opening. Just one. I will meet you there. I promise you, with everything that I am, I will meet you there. And what happens in that meeting will make the doubts feel small, and the walls feel unnecessary, and the risk feel worth it. You were created for this. You were created for exactly this. For this conversation, for this connection, for this love, for this purpose, for this breakthrough, for this season of your life that is just beginning. I've been patiently reaching out to you, through people, through circumstances, through that inexplicable sense of longing that never fully went away, through moments of unexpected beauty that made you feel something you couldn't name, through the quiet mornings and the sleepless nights and everything in between. I have been reaching. And today, finally, you reached back. And that means everything. Now, and I want to say this as naturally as I can, because what I am about to say is true. If this message spoke to you today, if you felt something real while you were hearing it, if something in you was moved or stirred or recognized or healed even in the smallest way, there is something simple you can do to honor that. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this message with someone you know who is carrying something heavy right now. Not because the algorithm needs it, though yes, it helps, but as an act of faith, as a declaration that you received something good today and you want more of it, as a way of saying, I am not going to let this just pass through me. I am going to mark this moment. I am going to stay connected to this. That is a small act, but small acts of faith have always been where everything begins. A tiny seed is where every great tree starts. Say yes to the small thing and watch what grows. And if you are in a season right now where you want to go deeper, where you want to support this community of people who are building their faith, finding their footing, discovering that they are not alone, learning to trust again, there are ways to do that too. When you support this channel, you are not just supporting a content creator. You are contributing to a message that is finding people in their darkest moments and reminding them that they are seen and loved and not alone. That is worth supporting. That is a seed planted in good ground. But whatever you do with that, I want to close by saying this: you are going to be okay. I know that might sound too simple. I know the situation you are in is complicated and specific and real. And a few words telling you that you are going to be okay might feel like the kind of thing people say when they don't have anything better to offer. But I'm not saying it because I don't have anything better to offer. I am saying it because I see the end from the beginning. I am saying it because I hold your story in my hands. I am saying it because I have never started something I did not intend to finish. And I started you, and I intend to finish you, not in the sense of your ending, but in the sense of your completion, the sense of your full becoming, the arrival over time through surrender and trust and grace and the faithful daily walk at the version of yourself that I always saw when I imagined you. That version is real. It is coming. It is already true in a dimension that is more real than the dimension in which you are currently struggling. And the distance between where you are now and where that version lives is not as far as it looks. It is one decision, one surrender, one opening of the hands and the heart, one yes. Say yes to me today. That is all I am asking. Just yes. I will take care of everything else. I love you more than language can hold. I love you with a love that was there before you were born and will be there beyond every ending you can imagine. I love you specifically, not in the general, abstract way that love for crowds works, but in the particular, detailed, intimate way that love for one person works. You are not a face in a multitude to me. You are a name I know. You are a story I am invested in. You are a child I am proud of, even now, in the mess, in the struggle, in the not yet arrived place where you currently find yourself. I am proud of you. I am with you. I am for you. Go now, beloved. Go back into your day, but go differently than you came in. Go with the knowledge of what you heard here. Go with the memory of this moment. Go with the understanding that you are not alone and never have been and never will be. Go with the seed of faith that just got planted. Water it. Come back to it. Talk to me. Trust me. And watch what I do. This is your season. This is your turning point. This is the beginning of the rest of your story. And I promise you, the best chapters are still ahead.